I got for selling me clothes, tuppence for selling me blanket. If ever I list for the soldier again, devil shall be me sergeant.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another tightwad how-to video. Just started making this and I just thought, oh yeah, you know, blimey, let's film it. It does take like almost 3 times as long to get something done when I keep having to stop and come out and film, but however, getting a lot of very positive feedback and you know, let's sort of get it done. So story is Outlaw Dave had this when we met him up the covert spot. It really is, I'm told it's 4 pints, an enlarged you know, like little whiskey thing. It's kind of sold, as he said, probably as a novelty, and he's got it, not too expensive, really robust, you know, nothing wrong with this, stainless steel, good little top on it, doesn't leak, and you know, what we sort of pointed out, and what, you know, is that if that's carrying, even if it was 3 pints, will slip down the rucksack, and you know, possibly a good way of carrying water. Very strange sort of size, strange implement, and as he said, like, I'd be nice to have a little way of carrying that just when I want to go walk about and take the dogs out. And I thought, well, you know, a cockney twat that can sew, so I've obviously took it off him. He's kind of just left it with me, if that makes sense. I know Dave recently bought a jacket with some of the old tree moss, or the sort of oak, I call this civi camouflage. It goes a tree bark camouflage, so I'm going to do it in that. Got a little bit of that material. So ladies and gents, the way I've done that then is twice the length plus the bottom and the flap. So that's how I've come out with this length. Bearing in mind, whatever implement you're making, you will size the material accordingly, if that makes sense. So I'm not going to go into that too much because your size will be different to my size. And what I've done is, because this is going to be a flat pouch, I've left it over because I can always sew down there, see how much room I've got, and then sew down some more, because I'm going to obviously turn this one inside out. And the only thing I've done so far before, you know, remembering actually I'll come out and do this, because this, you can just make this will just be a small little, very lightweight, easily transportable satchel. Shoulder bag, for want of a better word of doing it. Obviously this one is going to be purposely designed to take this water bottle. So there we go. Now, as it's a water bottle, as we know from when I did the one for Big Martin, going in and out, it can be a pain. If you just sew over there, it's stiff, and you could go over it twice, but not that stiff, if that makes sense. So to make that stand proud, and the water bottle can go in and out there very easily. Last time I sewed something and sewed it round. Again, if you're keeping up with me how-to videos, and that will probably mean you're watching this one as well. I've got some 40mm material, webbing material, that will be for the strapping on it and that as well. And all I've done there, you see on that side, I'm going to make sure I've come in. I'm going to see that. Yeah, I've sewed right over the top. Now roughly, I left it either side because I don't want to have to sew through that again, because that will be like 4 lots. So I've left it, you know, a thumbs either side, because that's going to be my stitching, which, you know, I'm going to be sewing down there once it's inside out. So it was like that, ladies and gentlemen. I'll show you on this part here. Yep, we can see. And I then folded it in half. This is the actual piece I cut off. Folded it in half. Like that, and then literally sewed down the bottom, and then sewed along the top, okay, and then down the sides. Didn't do it full width because, as you'll see, I don't want to be sewing over that when I'm making the pouch, but hopefully I'll make sure that comes out clear. So front and back, that's a very good but easy way of stiffening up the front of a pouch, ladies and gents. So all I'm going to do now is again, remember, because this is very simple to make, that's going to be how deep it is, okay, and I've got to remember, I'm going to put a mark about there, and the easiest way to find, this is where, now the strap, the clip lock strap that it comes down, the easiest way to find out how, what this piece of material, the actual middle of it is simply by doing that. Mark it the depth that you want, and then literally, it's not rocket science, ladies and gents, you can get all the rulers out you want and then start, you know, dividing it in half and so forth, if you're so inclined. But the most efficient way to do that, to find the middle of that, This will be the restraining strap, is there. Okay, so that's exactly the middle part there. Using a bit of chalk, and it won't show up on the camera, I don't think, because this is, I actually like this camouflage material. But I've now got a little cross there, and that's where my 25mm webbing will go to actually shut it. So right, and we're talking about the back now, so I'm doing some marking off. Again, that's where that's going to come to. That's going to come to. Apologies for that. So that's about how I want that. So when I've laid that down there, on there, it's going to be roughly there and there. I will now measure down and make sure that they're both exactly the same. Okay. I've just done that roughly, so I've got the rough size, but both of them lines must be the same when you draw your line across. And literally that's going to be the front and this is going to be the back. And on the back I want to put a piece of, well, a belt loop. It may not necessarily go on his belt, although he can put it on his belt if he wanted it to, but it will be able to attach to the side of a Bergen or rucksack. You know, some of them have the horizontal straps, so it can slip through there. So another way of carrying this, and there's no reason why not, even though I'm trying to keep this really, really simple, because it doesn't have to be a complicated build for you, is to make sure, just give that option for the want of a couple of minutes sewing up. Okay, ladies and gents, and again, it will be sort of there and there. That's I'm going to, because this will be the flap, if you imagine, just going to draw a line across there. This will be the flap, so I've got to sew that on there and the buckle on that side, because anything going around the neck you want a quick release strap, okay, and you want the buckle nearest to you, not at the back. You know, near your back, you need it at your front. And again, there's some 40mm, really nice strong webbing there, rather than 25mm, because it gives your shoulder a bit more support. And I picked up a load of it cheaper at a boot fair. So, ladies and gents, hopefully that's made a little bit of sense there, because this is not in any way a complicated build. So I want to bring that to there, yeah, that's almost. So, that's my line there, okay, and all I'll do is make sure I've got the centre of that piece of material. You'll see me do it by folding it in half, mark it off, sew a belt loop there, piece of webbing there, and obviously I buckle that side. Then I will be sewing it up down there, and now we can already see that why I didn't want, if I'm going to be sewing down there then turning it out, inside out, there's no way I wanted that really thick piece of webbing that we'll have trouble going through a machine all the way to the end, because I'm going to sew it up, turn it out. All I want to do is reinforce the front of that pouch. So on that, ladies and gents, that's it so far, and I'll bring you back when I've done a bit of sewing up. Right, ladies and gents, here we see the back of the pouch. Okay, so I put a belt loop on it for him. You can put it on a belt, I suppose, but you know, like the horizontal straps of a Bergen, a lot of them have got them. You can actually attach it to the outside of your Bergen if necessary now. Okay, two straps. Now that's a normal 40mm strap lock buckle. I've sewed that on there. Okay, and that's the long strap. I've left it really long for the guy. You know, he's about as Big Marty, so there's a bit extra on this strap, mate. And the guy can just cut it to roughly what he wants and end up with a bit of spare strapping or whatever. So these two things, so that's obviously what we're looking at there is the flap, that's the back, and then this is going to be the front. I'll pull the front down so we can have a look at that. Must, as always, keep saying that, sew all this on before you sew it inside out and then turn it the right way out. Otherwise you'll never be able to get your machine over this. And it's quite simple to do, ladies and gents. All I've done so far is a normal stitching, crisscrossing, going over it a few times, but when you do that, if it's going to say sew it, cut the cotton, sew it again, sew it, cut the cotton. So if any one of them breaks or gives way, the other one's just another line of cotton behind it. If you just keep it continuous, it'll just all unthread. So that's the back of the pouch so far, and that's what I've done since I last saw you. Sew the buckle on, sew the strap on, and no reason why not just to sew a belt strap on there. I'll pull it down so we can now. We're now looking at the front, if you see, and again, ladies and gents, that will be the flap. Okay, make sure we're in there, yeah. And again, I've sewn that bit on there because there's no way you get the machine on, and that's going to be for the click lock buckle, okay, which I'm going to sew on there right at the end. So ladies and gents, as we can see there, see I've made it a lot wider. That's because to take into account the width of the bottle. No need to do like a square box pouch like I did for Big Marty's one, because that was quite a wide bottle. This is a slim bottle, so in all honesty it's going to sit like that, you know, that way, this way to his body, and it's not going to take too much more than that. And again, I reckon sewing not far down there, once I've turned it inside out, will make that right. Again, I don't want it to you know, be as tight as a Virgin's fanny. No need to be, because a water bottle, and it's ever so annoying when you can't get it, there's not enough space to get it in and out, or you've got to faff about with it. Right ladies and gents, so all that. Now when you're sewing up, you really have got to do, what I normally do is get a paper clip and just put a paper clip on there so it's, you know, stays in the middle, and you've got to be careful of your straps when you're sewing up and that, yeah. A few stray cottons I've still got to get rid of. So ladies and gentlemen, what I've got to do now, and time is rapidly running out before I get ready to go to work, is, again, so I mean, you've got to keep that strapping out of the way. Oh, it's very annoying now, because I left it very, very long. Right, match it up to the 2 points, there, and literally sew down there, and sew down there. Okay, and then I'll come up and then sew down there again, and sew down there again. And that's the pouch made. Remembering, if you're looking at it now, that's the flapping. I'm just sewing it up inside out so we can see that. Okay, so I'm going to go and do that, and where I sew here, I do a zigzag stitch just on that bit, because that's going to be that there and there are going to be the main places that are going to take the stress as you're pulling it out to put your water bottle in. So ladies and gents, I'll stop waffling on and bring you back. Right ladies and gents, time's running out before I go to work, but I've just sewed that down there now, just one initial sew line, give it a little backwards and forwards there just to strengthen that join line. Now when you're making something from scratch, I've deliberately left it a little bit wider than I thought I'd need it, because the idea now is to see that going in there. Once that's tied down, I'm going to bring it in almost, just make sure you can actually see that there, almost to the level of the green part there, okay, down there and then down that side, just to make it, the pouch, a little bit smaller when I turn it inside out. And again, like I say, it goes in there. What we do, your test as you go in, once it's the right way around, there you can see the pouch forming, and that's all hunky-dory. This is horrible material because it's so soft, shiny on the inside, very waterproof material, but it has a problem going through the machine because it's a bit slippy, not on this side, which is grippy. Right ladies and gents, so yeah, just sizing it up now. Again, I know I'm going to lose about as much as that when I turn it inside out, so I'm literally going to come down there once more, and I'll bring you back on that. Right ladies and gents, a few moments later, if by magic, you'll see then I've used the actual length of the foot just to give me a guideline. I've sewed a parallel stitch down there. That will make the pouch just a little less wide, okay? And obviously I don't need all this hanging here, so as you'll see, what I've done, kind of Blue Peter style, is another row of stitching. Again, that's exactly the half the width of my foot on my sewing machine. Just sewed another line down there and gone over a few times there, so I'm very near to that. And what I've done there, see that bit that was hanging, so right near to this second row of stitching, so if the first one goes, the second one will be there. I've just cut that excess off, don't need it there, but then come round to the top in an arc, so I've got a lot of fold over for when I do the flap on it, ladies and gents. And again, I'm going to show you, it's all simple sewing, if you know how to use a sewing machine. And again, on here, there's the second one, I'm going to go cut it all the way down there, then just bring it out in an arc to that corner there, so it just gives me a little bit more to turn over when I do my flap, which you'll see later on, possibly tomorrow, because time is getting on, ladies and gents. But yeah, that's how I've sized it up, and again, I'm sort of happy with that. It's once it's in there, I lose about that much. So yeah, that's the little patch in there. You know, no need to make it like, you know, too tight, so you know you have problems getting it in and out. So job done on that. And perhaps this isn't the only thing the gentleman actually may want to put in that little, very simple, over-the-shoulder satchel. Or foraging bag. You could have it as a foraging bag. Or a shoplifting bag, really, if you're like-minded. Anyway, take care. That, ladies and gents, there's a finished item. As I'm sure I said before, it doesn't matter what you want to put in this bag. You know, it's a little satchel bag, simple. You could have put another couple of patches on the inside should you have wanted to do so. It wasn't necessarily on this one. You've seen me do it in other videos. But literally, I pulled it inside out now, and as we can see, that's going to be the wide fold over, which both sides of that will help obviously just make the cornering for me flat. But I've sewed down there, and again done the old zigzag thing, just there on there, so it's got, that's where the stress point's going to be, and sewed it down there. Okay, so that's doubled the material, if that makes sense, making it a very strong drawing. Right, I haven't got time to do it now, so it'll be tomorrow. I will come all the way down there, and again just inside of that sewing stitch, so there's 2 lines there, and I then will sew down, make sure you've got that properly in, yeah, down to about there, and then just take that in from there, and do the same size, so when it comes over there's a little bit of pulling in, and that will be obviously the flat. So it's going to end up something like that, folded over with the Fastex buckle there. So ladies and gents, I could probably get that done in 10 minutes, but time's getting on, my dogs need walking and I need to get ready for work. So tomorrow I'll just show you how that's finished off. I'll finish this now, because this is it anyway, but I just need to capture how I did the top of that pouch, if that makes sense. Well, ladies and gents, it was about 3 days ago I started this, and just working with whatever. You've seen me do everything else because I did a how-to video. When I left it, this was just like a square piece of material and thicker than it was there. But as you can see, all I've done is sew down there, all the way, and then down there, okay, sealed it in, sealed it again, 2 rows of cotton, literally put it on the machine, flat, easy enough to do, and then that I then turned it over to finish that edge nicely, okay, and that's all you need to do. That's the strength, and I've already covered that in there, mate, you know, because when you put your water bottle in and out, and you've got that light, the fire, you know what I mean, it's fat wood there. I've got a load of that sort of cheapish, so shared amongst the troops, and that's for me single malt, yeah, and quite very nicely, mate. I know you say, but you just sort of chipped me one of them, so I might have to make one for me. That water bottle is going to be brilliant for going in that small day sack, and that's going to be another work in progress. I'm going to sew a patch on the inside at the forward part for it, just to take that, mate. There we go, ladies and gents. That's the clip bit that you saw me sew on before I sewed it together, and all I've done is, once I've tidied that up, and all I've done is brought that into a nice sort of edge, mate. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, just a little bit of sewing, 2 rows of sewing, and then obviously sewed the Fastex clip on the top there, mate. Absolutely brilliant. 40mm webbing, 40mm buckle, because that's a lot wider when it's going over there, mate. Yeah. So, perfect. And I left it a bit long just because, you know, Indiana Jones, mate. Yes, mate. Goes across perfect. Yeah, no, it does. And like I said, I put a little belt loop on there, mate, so if necessary, one of these horizontal straps, you can attach it to a Bergen, or indeed, as Marty said, stick it on the belt. You can't not do that. No, excellent. But that's the job done, ladies and gents, and there's the finished article, and there's the finished customer, who seems reasonably happy. I'm more than happy with that. No, mate. No, that's but then, really made up with that. You know, you made fire steels, you give me a fire steel that's bigger than me. And no, so as I said, mate, it's just a little bit of exchange of, well, that's brilliant. You got what you wanted, and you couldn't buy one for that, and well, I've got a fire steel that you can't buy because it matches my coat perfectly. Yeah, because as I said, you said, oh, I don't mind what material. I'll tell you what, Ed, I'll leave it to you, and I knew you just bought that coat. You got that 100% right, mate. Yeah. Without any question. And again, it's a bit of a civic cover, you know, it's not like deep VM or nothing. But yeah, a couple of bits got to do for you, mate, but that's the job done. Beautiful. And there's the aircraft taking it off because it is a Saturday. But yeah, good overnight, mate, wasn't it? Thoroughly enjoyed it. And that's the first time, first of many, hopefully, here at the covert spot, or wherever, you know, the little crew's going, mate. There you go. Well, that's what you wanted, mate. Yeah, and there's some people make them bags and they just charge you a lot of money for it, mate. Indiana Jones style. Yeah. Put my Bergen on top. And that's there. And even if you want to go for a walk, mate, you can have a little brew kit in there. It's slightly bigger than it needed to be. Yeah. You can keep all your brew kit. Yeah.
I mean, not so much an overnight bag, but as a day bag, it's perfect.
And when you ain't got that in there, mate, that will roll up, fitting in a little pouch on the top end of your Bergen, and you've got it for when you do want to go walk about as well.
Mate, absolutely.
No, so lovely, jubbly. Anyway, ladies and gents, that's the finishing of the how-to on that bag, because literally, I just ain't got the time that I used to have, mate, you know, with work and all that sort of stuff. So, anyway, ladies and gents, from the covert spot, a cheeky put together overnighter. And we started Friday into Saturday, mate, because, you know, I'm working Sunday and people have got things to do.
Tonight.
Yeah, you know. So we managed to get a cheeky one in there, mate, yeah.
Absolutely.
So, ladies and gents, take care, and as always, if you've got to this far in the film, thank you very much for watching 3 old parts in the wood.